Then we'll start the session. So today I'll explain about profiles. Let me share my screen. Please let me know if you're able to view my screen.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. So what is a profile here? Profile is nothing but it's a set of permissions and settings that we set in Salesforce. For every user, profile is a mandatory. It decides what a user can do in Salesforce. So in any organization, the admin will create profiles and assign to the users. And the profile decides what is the access the user should have. And it has everything related to the access, like which application the user should have access to which tab the user should have access, and to which objects, and what are the administrative permissions and general permissions and everything. And what should be the password policies. Everything decides, profile decides everything. So let me go to setup. Here, if you come to administer, under manage users, you can see profiles. If you don't know where the profile is, then you can just type profile in a quick find box. Then you can click on the profiles. So these are the standard profiles that are already defined in Salesforce. And this is the custom one that I have created. Let me open any one of the profiles. I'll open this one. So if I open profile, see it says page layouts, custom object layouts, field level security, tab settings, record type settings, administrative permissions, general user permissions, and standard object permissions, and custom object permissions, and everything. So it has everything related to the access. That is the access to the applications, objects, tabs, page layouts, fields, and everything. Let me go to page layout. So this defines in this section, the administrator provides the access to the page layout. Page layout, actually we haven't explained what is a page layout. So we'll go through about the page layouts once we are there. Okay, here the administrator will decide to which page layout the user should have access by clicking the view assignment. Here you can see view assignment for every object. So by clicking that view assignment, the administrator can assign the page layouts to the users. Okay, I'm not showing this now. I'll show you while explaining the page layouts. Okay, and the next one is the field level security. So field level security is nothing but let's say I'll open another tab. I'll open this. Okay, when I open this object, I have these different fields: position name, minimum pay, maximum pay, functional area, job level. So these are all the fields that I have on this specific object. So here, by using field level security, administrator will decide to which fields the user should have access. Let me click on this. I've opened the position object. This is the custom object. I'm clicking the view button here. You can see that there's a view link in front of the position object. So here, when I click on that, you can see there's a checkboxes: read access and edit access. So for every field here, what is the access this profile, this sales rep profile is having now? So it will show you this for this specific field. If you take the country name, so this profile has read access and edit access, and created by created. So these are the fields these are the fields that are created by the Salesforce itself. And if you take this MaxPay field, the user has read access, but user is not having edit access. The user cannot able to edit this field. He can only view the data on this field. And I'm editing this one. Yeah. See, you can see. So for MaxPay, if the user wants to edit this MaxPay field as well, then you can just simply check this checkbox as well, and you can directly save it. So then, if we save this, the user will be able to edit the data in this field. So, what is the MaxPay? See this field. So user is not able to edit this. This sales rep profile user is not able to edit this specific MaxPay field now. But if we just click this and save, then the user should be able to edit this field as well. Okay, here we set the field level security. Back to profile. Okay, and before this, actually here you can see custom app settings. So there are visible and default 2 columns for in front of every application. So these are the applications that we have in Salesforce. So in front of every application, we'll be having a visible and default 2 columns. So visible is nothing but whether the user should access that specific application or not. So it defines this visible. And if it is default is nothing but whenever the user logs into the Salesforce, by default, this application will be open, this sales application. So when this sales rep user logs into Salesforce, so the default is checked for sales application for this user. So whenever he logs into the Salesforce, by default, this application will be open for him. Okay. Application is nothing but here. So these are all the applications. So whenever the sales rep user logs into Salesforce, for him, sales application will be open by default. Okay, let me edit this. Yeah, see, if you want to change it, you can change it here. So you can edit the profile and you can make some other as default. Okay, if you select the default, it will be visible by default. And coming to standard tab settings.
Where did you edit that profile?
Let me go back. Yes. So here you can see edit, clone, delete, view users. Okay. So if you want to create a similar profile, you can just click on clone. If you want to delete the profile, you can delete the profile. If you want to view users, who are all the users assigned to this profile, you can click this view users. And if you want to edit the profile, you can click on edit button here. So you can edit the sales rep profile.
Okay.
Only, can you go back to the MaxPay, the one you did one before this one?
Okay. Yes.
So we took the MaxPay, that's right? And
yes,
right now it's edit access is not there.
Yes.
My question is, when you have the edit access, why the read access is also checked?
So without read, you cannot edit the value, right? So if you want to,
it's super authority, that's right.
Sorry.
Edit is like a super authority.
Read if you are providing edit access to a specific field, then obviously you should have the read access.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah. Without viewing the data, you cannot read the data. So this is the basic access, read access.
Read access is
if you don't provide read access to any field, then obviously you cannot provide edit access.
So you have to do both.
Yes, either both or only read.
Read, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just have the edit. Okay.
No. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm editing the profile here. So if you want, you can make the application by default here, and coming to the tab settings. Here you can see for every tab there are some options like default on, default off, and tab hidden. So default on is, so here the default on is nothing but, if you select that default on, we can provide the permission to the user and the tab will be added to the user's tab menu automatically. So default on is nothing but the user is able to view that specific tab and the tab will be added to the tab menu here. Okay, and if we select default off, then the tab will not be available on the tab menu. We have to add it by customizing the tabs. You have to click on this this plus symbol and you have to add it manually. The user should add it manually if it is a default off. And if we select the tab hidden, this tab will be hidden to that profile. The user will not have this tab on the tab bar and he cannot even add this to the tab menu. So he will not be having access to the to that specific tab. Let's see. Tab hidden, default off, and default on. Default on is nothing but, if we select default on, that this profile will be having access to this tab and the tab will be added to the tab menu. I mean, it will be added by the Salesforce. So if it is a default on, if it is a default off, the user can access this tab, but it will not be added to the tab menu by default. He has to customize it and he has to click on the plus symbol and he has to customize the tabs and he has to move the tab from available tabs, and they have to manually add the tab to the tab menu. If it is a tab hidden, then he cannot add the tab to the tab menu. Okay, and coming to administrative permissions, these are all the administrative permissions that the administrator will give to the users who belong to this profile. That means we are giving all these permissions to the users who are having this profile. Generally, the users don't need all of these permissions because these are related to the admin activities. But we provide few of them to the users. So if we see that Apex REST services, so if you check this checkbox, the user can call any third-party application other than Salesforce by using the Apex. And if it is an API enabled, the user can access any API or any API that will be called from Salesforce to outside. And so there are a lot of permissions here. Assign, if it is assign permission sets, it allows the users to assign the permission sets to other users. Permission set is we didn't come to permission set yet. So after profile, we'll explain what is the permission set. And these are all the administrative permissions that user is having for this specific profile. And someone asked me in very first class, I think, how can we control a user without experiencing the Lightning environment? We can do that at profile level, not on the user level. So here, if you check this Lightning experience user, if you uncheck, if you check this one, the user should be able to access the Lightning. If it is unchecked, then the user will not be able to access the Lightning environment.
Murli,
yeah.
Small question. It's a basic question. Whatever the account we have in the Salesforce now, developer account, right? Whether it gives the admin privileges to us.
Yes, it gives admin privileges.
So we can create our users and assign that these permissions.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
And then after creating them, so we should be able to log in with that user privilege.
Yes.
Right? So,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can try. You can give the Lightning experience to a specific user, I mean to a specific profile, and then you can create a user and you can assign this profile to that user, and you can try to log in as that user. Then if you uncheck this one, then the user will not be able to experience the Lightning environment. I mean, the Lightning button will not be visible to the user. That will not be there for the user. So if you check this, then only the Lightning switch to Lightning button will be appear on top of the Salesforce page.
Thank you.
Ramode, I got one more question.
Yes.
So you profile, you put a sales rep, that's right?
Yes.
You have the profile as a sales rep right now.
Yes.
So if there are 10 sales rep, they all have the same access, or I can go and now monitor individually and give them the access.
So this is the profile. If you have 10 users, then you can assign this profile to the 10 users. So they'll be
I
having.
can assign the profile I know, but
Yeah.
if I'm a sales rep, senior sales rep, I just want him to see some fields. But if you're a junior sales rep, he or she should not be able to see some of the things the senior sales rep can see.
Yes. In that case,
the profile sales rep, they all come under the same bucket.
Okay.
So how does the profile work?
Yeah. So you have one senior sales rep and 10 junior sales reps. So you can create sales rep profile according to the junior sales reps. Then you can assign the same profile to everyone, to the 11 users. And but senior sales reps should have access, should have extra access. You're saying, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. In that case, you have to create a permission set. So I was explaining here.
Okay. Yeah.
Assign permission set.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to create a permission set, and in that permission set, we have to define that extra access. So whatever the extra access if we want to give, so we have to define that access in the permission set, and we have to assign that permission set to the senior sales rep. So obviously, we'll be having extra access.
So we have to go to the tab level or the field level and give the access. Yeah.
Yes. You have to create a permission set, and in that you have to create that whatever the access or whatever the extra access you want to provide. So you can define that access in the permission set, and you can assign that permission set to the user.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah, actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
It is not related with this page. It is about how we know that which checkbox we click, lookup or master. Because when I was created, it shows two relationships.
Yes.
One is lookup and one is master detail. So how would we know that which one is?
So it's depend upon the requirements. So if the relation is mandatory, and you can create a master, you can go with the master detail. If the relation is not mandatory for every child, then we can go with the lookup relationship.
Okay.
So I'll explain them clearly later on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. So here we have a lot of checkboxes under the administrative permissions. Like you can go with all these options. Like if you check this one, create and customize dashboards, then if we check this checkbox, the user should be able to create and customize the dashboards. So there are a lot of options here. And coming to the general user permissions. So these are the general permissions that admin provides to the users. So these are not related to the administrative permissions. These are the general user permissions. And if the user should be able to run the reports, then you can check this, run reports. Okay, and if the user should be able to send mass email, you can check this one. So this just we don't use all these options. You can go through all these options once. And coming to the object permissions. So here we'll be having all the objects. These are the standard objects, and these are the custom objects that we have created in Salesforce. So if you see the options here, we have two things: basic access and data administration. Under basic access, you can see there are four checkboxes: read, create, edit, and delete. And this is the object level security, not the field level security. This is the object level security. If we check, see if we have for positions object, we have the read and edit. So that means he can able to. So this user is having read access to this object, read and edit access to this position object. And if it is a create, then he'll be having create access. And if it's a delete, then he'll be having a delete access. And coming to data administration. So this is the view. There are two options here: view all, modify all. So if you check this one, view all. That means the user should be able to view the data in the positions object, the complete data. So whatever the data that we have in the positions object, the user should be able to view all the data. And if it is a modify all, the user should even edit the data. So these are all related to the data administration. Okay, mostly in most of the cases, we don't give view all and modify all permissions. So we just give read, edit. So only these permissions, only under the basic access. Okay. And let's see if you if you check this edit, then read will be automatically checked. If you uncheck read, so edit will be automatically unchecked. I mean, without read, you cannot have the edit access. That is also same as a field level security. So without read, we will not be having that edit access. Okay, and coming to the desktop integration. So generally, so this is for the different users, some in different desktop clients like Salesforce, for Outlook, Force.com, for Lotus Notes, and Force.com. This is if you want to integrate. Yeah.
One question.
Yes.
For the custom object permissions, just now what you said.
Yeah.
For the objects like employee and position, the basic access read, create, and edit and delete options are there, right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, where we can create or edit something. And again, why do we have in data administration view all and modify all?
Yes.
I mean,
Actually, this is yes. This is related to the data. So data administration. So view all and modify all. So related to the data actually, and this is these first four are related to the so if we have access to a specific data, so let's say you have created 10 records in your hub, so those records belong to you generally.
right.
So you will be having access to those records. Then if you have access to those records, then you, I mean, if you profile edit, so if you provide edit here, then you'll be having edit access to your records.
Okay.
And in the same object, I have created 10 more records. So those are my records.
Okay.
So if we don't give view all here, you will not be having access. You will not be having access to my records.
Okay.
If I check view all here, then you will be having access to my records as well. I mean, if I check view all button, view all checkbox here, and if this profile is assigned to you, then you will be having access to my records and everyone's records.
Right. Understood. Okay.
Yeah. These
and
are.
one more question.
Yeah.
Why do we have create over there? These are all custom objects which we have created, right? Then
Yes.
why do you have a checkbox again for a create?
Let's say we. So it's not about custom objects and standard objects. It's about the permissions. So there may be hundreds and thousands of users in one org. So in that case, everyone should not have access to all the objects, right? So to segregate the users, we have to create profiles, and we can assign the profile to the appropriate users. So let's say for sales rep, someone asked me this question just a few minutes ago. So we have a senior sales rep and sales rep. So for sales rep, so let's say we should have only read access for sales rep. Or let's say we should have read and edit access for sales rep, and for senior sales rep, we should have the delete access as well. So in that case, so there is some difference between each person. So one person should have only read access or edit access, and another person should have delete access, and some other person should have access to all the data. So in that case, we create profiles and we assign this profile. I mean, we just assign these, whatever the access that we have defined, we assign this access to that particular person. So everyone should not have access to all the records. So in that case, if someone deletes something by mistake, then all the data will be gone, right?
Okay, understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. Any more questions? Okay, coming to desktop integration clients. So if you want to integrate Salesforce with for Outlook or with Lotus Notes, then in that case we use this one. But generally, we don't use this much. So we have different options here. First one is off, access denied. So here users cannot install the client. Client is nothing but the Salesforce for Outlook or Force.com for Lotus Notes. So those kind of clients. And if it is on and no updates, in this case, the user can install the client but cannot update it. So it's depend upon the option that we provide. So if it is on and updates without alerts, in this case, users can update the client, but they will not get the alert to the update. To update. So if it is on update with alerts, so in this case, users can update the client. They'll also get the alert. And if it is a must update, then users can install the client and they must update with the alerts. And coming to the session settings. So here, to maintain the session for users, we have these session settings. Here you can select the session timeout after. So I just let's say I just open the Salesforce and I'm inactive. After which time the session should be logged out. We can define that time here. We can set 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour or 2 hours. So this is the inactive time. So after some inactive time, the Salesforce will be automatically logged out. And this option, this is related to the two-factor authentication. So if user wants to provide this two-factor authentication when they log in, then we can select high assurance here. You can select high assurance. And in this case, the users verify the identity 2 times. It's basically to provide more security to the Salesforce account. Okay. And coming to the password policies. So we can manage the users' password policies here. So users' password expire in how many days? For every, if you select 90 days, for every 3 months, the user should change the password. And enforce password history. So how many passwords the Salesforce should remember. So if we select 3 passwords remembered, then the user cannot set the password same as last 3 passwords. And what should be the password length and what should be the complexity of the password. So how many characters it should have. So we can select it from here and maximum invalid attempts. So how many maximum invalid attempts the user can have. So if it is 10, then after 10 invalid attempts, the Salesforce account will be locked. If it is locked, then what should be the lockout effective period? So we can select the period here. So once it is locked, then what should be, if it is locked forever, or it should be locked for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes. We can select that here. And coming to this one, if we select this checkbox, so whenever you forget your password, you can click the forget password button. Then you'll get an email from Salesforce. If you click on that link, it will ask you for a security question, and you have to answer that question. So it will enable that user. And it requires a minimum 1-day password lifetime. That means if we select this checkbox, you cannot reset the password more than once in a day. And the last option. So if we check this option, the forgot password link will not be expired until user confirms the password reset request. So once the user gets the mail, so that link will not be expired until user confirms it. So these are related to the password policies. So whatever we define in profile, that will be applicable to the user to whom we assign this sales profile. Okay. Any questions on profile?
No.
I got one question.
Yeah.
I know I've been asking too many things.
No problem.
If you go down, can you go down? I want to see the default on and off.
Yes.
So when you do it the first time, what's the default on those things? How does it come across when you're doing the profile setup?
So it will be set by Salesforce.
Meaning it's default on or off? It's going, because I know you can go and change it the way you want, but what's the default?
Yes.
When
So these are the custom tabs that we have created. So for these, while creating the tab, we'll be having that checkbox, right?
Yeah.
So it's depend upon the while creating the tab, we'll be having the checkbox. If we check the checkbox, the tab will be automatically added to the tab menu by default.
That's
yes.
for the custom
So
tabs.
if we check that one, so for these custom tabs, so it will be by default on, and for these are the standard tabs that are provided by Salesforce.
Okay,
so for these tabs, so
yeah.
it's depend upon, I mean, it's depend on the Salesforce. So it will be
okay.
by default. Yeah.
Okay. Because custom, I know we can select whatever we want. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Any more questions?
It's a lot of fields to go and change otherwise for standard.
Murli, who does, I mean, how many user profiles do we have? So we can create or?
Yes, we can create a, I'll show you that.
Okay.
Back to profiles. So these are the list of profiles that the Salesforce provides us.
So these are the standards.
Yes, and this one I have created this profile. If you want to create any profile, then you can just select the profile. So which profile you want to which profile, I mean, to which profile it should be similar. Like if you want to create any sales rep profile, then you can select any sales profile, and you can just click on clone here. We'll be having a clone button. So if you click on clone here, so it will select that existing profile and the user license of that profile, and you have to give the profile name. So it will create the similar profile for you. You can just give the name, whatever the name you want. You can just give the profile name, the new profile name. Then you can clone that profile and you can change the settings. Or if you don't want that one, you can create the new profile. Again, here also you have to clone. And here you can select that existing profile to which profile it should be similar. Like let's say if you are creating any sales profile, I can select this one and I can give any name. So senior.
So I think it is advisable to clone it, right? Or do we have to clone all the time?
We have
because there are too many fields, right?
Yes, we have to clone.
We have to clone. Okay.
Yes. You can give your own profile name and you can just save it. Then all whatever the access that is defined under this profile, this specific profile. So it will be this profile also created same as this profile. Then you can make the changes later on.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any more questions?
Murli, I'm sure here. Can you, if you don't mind, can you create one, create one and see if
sure.
you have time? Yeah.
Okay, let me create the same profile. Yeah, I have created the senior sales rep profile. So whatever that we have in sales profile, so we'll be having the same access in this profile as well. So if you want to make any changes, then you can edit the profile and you can make the changes.
Got it. Thank you.
It's you can see for that profile, by default, that is the sales application by default. So for this also, we have the default is the sales application.
So I'm sorry. How do we assign particular profile to the user?
Yeah.
Do we need to?
So while creating the user, you'll be having the profile here. You have to select that profile. So it's may depend upon the user license. So if it is Salesforce platform, if you have any profiles, so it will show you the profiles. I don't have Salesforce here because I already have 2 users with the Salesforce user license.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Thanks.
Hello. Murli, whatever the license you assign like that, so it's depends on the per user or means per
For
profile?
developer profile, actually, we are creating the developer profile, right?
Yeah.
So for developer profile, the user license, the Salesforce user license, you can use only maximum 2 Salesforce user licenses, not more than that.
Okay.
I already have 2 users with the Salesforce license. So if I, let me inactive this. Then if I try to create new user, then I can select the Salesforce user license here. Then I can have the, just now we have created senior sales rep. So you can select this profile. So with for this user license, with Salesforce user license, you cannot have more than 2 users for developer edition.
And again, whatever you created the clone one, so if you edit the clone profile, then automatically it updated to the previous one also.
Yes, if we clone it, then whatever we have under read-only profile, then will be whatever we have, whatever the access, whatever the type of access we have in this profile, so that will be cloned to this profile, which you have created. So we'll be having the same access. You have to clone it, and later on you have to make the changes. Whatever the changes.
Whatever the changes we made to the new one, that's only up to for the new one or for the old one?
No. That's only for the new one, not the old.
Not the old one.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
once you create the profile, this senior sales rep. So you are editing this senior sales rep profile, right? So I have cloned with some sales profile, but I'm editing this profile. That means it is applicable only to the senior sales rep profile. Any more questions?
I think Murli, your computer is dying heavily.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Yeah, give me a minute. Yeah, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, then I'll go with the roles. Okay. So as we have seen, to create a user, we should have a profile. So without profile, we cannot create a user. And we have the roles here. So, but a role is not mandatory to the user. So even though it is not mandatory, but it's recommended to assign a specific role to every user. I'm going to roles now. Here you can see, set up your role hierarchy to control how your organization reports on the accesses data. That means the roles should be like this. So on top of everyone, we'll be having the CEO, and under CEO, there are 3 branches. So one is the Western sales, and Eastern sales, and international sales. So under Western sales, there can be different branches. So this is the role hierarchy in this org. Okay, let me open setup roles. See, you can expand this CEO here. See, under CEO, we'll be having CFO, COO, SVP customer service and support, SVP human resources, SVP sales and marketing. And if we expand, so you can expand any role by clicking the plus sign in front of that. So if I click on SVP customer service and support, there are three roles again. So if I click on something, see, under customer support international, we don't have any role. Under this also, we don't have any role. And installation, and under this also, we don't have any role. Okay, under SVP human resources also, we don't have any role. And under SVP sales and marketing, we have again three different branches. I mean, three different roles. So VP international sales and VP marketing. And under VP marketing, again, we have marketing team. So under marketing team, we don't have anything. And under VP North American sales, we have director channel sales and director direct sales. So these are all the roles that we have in our Salesforce org. So this director direct sales. So this is a role under VP North American sales, and this is the role under SVP sales and marketing, and this is the role under CEO. So what is the use of this role hierarchy? So role hierarchy, the main use of role hierarchy is, let's say I am working for some company and I am a sales rep, and I have a manager, so he's a sales manager. Actually, we both whatever the work I'm doing, so my manager should know what I'm doing, right? So he should have extra access than me, right? Even though we are assigned to the same profile. Let's say myself and my manager, we both are assigned to the same profile. Okay, but the role assigned to us is different. So for me, it's a sales like Eastern sales team. Let's say for me, it's a Eastern sales team, and for my manager, it's a director direct sales. Okay, let's assume he's on top of me in the role hierarchy. In that case, whatever the work I'm doing, that means whatever the records I'm creating in my account, in my Salesforce account, so I will be having access to the records which I'm creating in my Salesforce account. Okay, and my manager is creating his own records. So we are creating two different records. My manager is creating his own records, and I'm creating my own records. So if my manager is on top of me in the role hierarchy, then he will be having access to my records also. But I cannot access my manager's records. Okay, he'll be having extra access to the data. So that's the main purpose of maintaining the role hierarchy. So they'll be having extra access always. Who is on top of the role hierarchy? So they'll be having more access than the people who are below the hierarchy. Any questions on this? So if you just in any organization, if you think logically, then manager obviously should have more access than the employees. Okay, so if employee is doing something, then he should be able to see what the employee is doing. And if manager is doing something, then employee cannot see. So if we can achieve that by using the role hierarchy.
So Murali.
Yeah.
See, this role hierarchy is the standard from Salesforce the same way.
No, you can have your own roles. So you can see the buttons here: edit, delete, assign.
No, that's fine because I'm looking at the. Oh, this is for the understanding roles. Okay.
Yeah, this is just for understanding.
Okay.
So you can delete the roles and you can create your own roles.
Okay. You do it right here, or you do it at the company profile the first time?
Sorry, I'm not getting. This is not my company's, or it's my personal account.
Because okay. The company profile.
I think I have created few of the roles. I think you may not get all these roles, but you'll get some roles by default, which is provided by the Salesforce.
Okay. Thank
You can delete, edit, and assign the roles by clicking these 3 buttons. You can even if you want to add any role, you can just you can see the button add role. You can see the button add role here. By clicking on this add role, you can just create the role here.
Okay.
You can give the if you see, this is a Western sales team. Under Western sales team, I'm clicking that add role. So by default, this role reports to Western sales team because we are creating this role under Western sales team.
What does the assign do? So it's like selecting a proxy or something?
Sorry, which one?
Assign.
Click on.
You got the edit, go back.
Okay. So we can assign this role to a specific user.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, like a proxy user. Okay.
Yes, user. Any questions on the roles? Okay. I think don't confuse between profile and role. Actually, profile it's not related to the data access. In the profile, we can provide the access to the skeleton. So to which object, to which tab, to which application, and what are the fields user should be able to view. And so we are providing the access to the skeleton, not to the data, not to the actual data. So to provide access to the data, we'll be having a OWD, role hierarchy, sharing rules. We'll be having all of them. So if it is a role hierarchy, then the data always on the top people. I mean, who are on the top in the role hierarchy, so they can able to view their data and the people's data who are under them. So this is all about the data, not about the objects, tabs, and application. Any questions, guys? So if you click on expand all here, then it will expand all the roles that you have in the Salesforce org. On top of this role hierarchy, you can see 2 buttons, collapse all and expand all. If you want to add any role in the middle, so if you want to add any role under CFO, you can just click this add role. If you want to add role similar to CFO, COO, and SVP, then you can click on add role under CFO. So that will be created similar level to CFO, COO, and SVP, these roles. Okay. Any questions? Okay. If you don't have any questions, I think we can close for today.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Murali.
Thank you, Murali.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Murali. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Good night.
Goodbye.